Good day. This is the re-recording of the table exercise. A number of persons told me that they weren't able to hear it, that it was recorded very low. So I'm just going to repeat the table lesson for you. So I'm starting, my page is already set up, margins to 0, Courier new, line spacing, single, 0 and 0. And so now my next step is to insert my table. Insert table, and I'm just going to do a 4 column table. Now, if your table that you're creating, if it's a tabulation exercise where there's no lines that are going to be left behind, then your first thing to do is you must go to layout and set your cell margins also to 0, because your words will replace the lines that will be non-existent. So I did that. So now I can start typing. Name, grade, age, what else? Name, grade, age. What? Let's move age over. Grade. And let's make this first name and last name. I couldn't think of anything. Okay, so here we go. So first name, Jonathan. Last name, Johnson. Grade, 12. Age, 16. Then I need a long name. What's a long name? There we go, Marie Antoinette. And her name is Moss. And grade 11, age 15. And let's do for 2 others. It's an old 10th grader. One last one. Okay, so now here are some of those instructions they usually ask you to do. One of those instructions is they may ask you to underline the column headings. So these are my column headings here, and I can underline them. Underline. Okay, and you'll see them better when I move the lines. Another thing they may ask you to do is to put a certain amount of spaces between columns. So just say they ask you to put 4 spaces between each column. So you will go here between these 2 columns. I'm going to look for my longest line in this column and right here, and I'll put my 4 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll point at my ruler and I will drag this as close as I could so I can see my 4 spaces. The next one, the longest line is Smithsonian, so here I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again I'm dragging my columns in. Now in this one, the grade is the longest line. Once they don't tell you to center the column headings, then you could use this longest line. If they tell you to center the column headings, then you would use one of the other longer lines. Okay, so here you go, 1 2 3 4, and I'm going here. And now lastly, look at this one. This is not between anything. This is the end of the column, so it's not between columns. So what you would want to do is you want to drag this as close as possible to the end to this without anything going down to the next line. So there we go. So we have now our table with our 4 spaces in between each column. Now another thing they may ask you to do is to center the table horizontally. Centering the table horizontally is different from centering the stuff in the table. So if you were to highlight like this and you click center, you center the items in the table and not the table, and you do not want that. Where's my undo? Okay, undo. So what you want to do to center the table itself is to click the same 4-headed arrow here. That will select the table, and then you click center. And notice now, you see the difference? My words aren't centered, my table is centered. Okay? And now the next thing to do is they may ask you to center it vertically as well on the page. Or they may call it vertically and horizontally balanced. Those mean the same thing. Center it horizontally and vertically. So vertical centering, you're going to page layout, and then you're going to go to page setup, layout, and under vertical alignment you choose center. Okay. What did I do? Okay, let's start that again. So we're going to page setup, and I'm going here on the vertical alignment, I'm choosing center. Okay, ignore. Alright, so when you notice, it went to the center of the page. I just undid it and did it again, and it worked. Okay, so I probably had my cursor the wrong place or something. Alright, so now it's looks somewhat vertically centered, but if you notice, remember I told you when we vertically centering something top and bottom, there's this extra empty space here that no matter what you do, it doesn't go away, and that will throw off your vertical alignment. So there are 2 ways you could fix that. You could either balance it by putting an empty one at the top here. So now we have one at the top and one at the bottom, so now it has to be balanced. Or another way of doing that is just to select this and make it as small as you can. Okay, and then it's just so minute that it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so that's 2 ways of doing that. Now another thing they may do is they may tell you to sort the table in date order or whatever order. Just say you were sorting by last name, you would just select the words that you want to sort. That's the whole row that you want to sort, not including the headings, and you will go to layout and click A to Z. Now if you're sorting by last name, if you look, last name is in the second column, so column 2, I'll choose column 2, and ascending and descending would put it in different in order, Z to A or A to Z. So I'm leaving it in ascending, and I click OK. So now this is ordered by last name. Or you could sort it by the grade, in which case I would choose column 3, and if I want the highest grade first, I'll choose descending, and I click OK. So now I have grade 12 first, and then grade level 11. Okay, or you can sort by age. So whatever it is, you would select and make sure you choose the correct column to sort it. Now the last thing to do is you must, if it's tabulation and there are no lines, you must remove the lines. So I selected my table, I clicked the home tab, and then I'm going to look for all borders. There we go, borders here, and I'm going to choose no border. And if you notice, if I move that, you can see that my table has no lines. It's perfect. It's just perfect. Alright, now if you must put in it's good to put in always good to put in a footer. And if you put in a footer here, what will happen is it will throw off your vertical alignment. And only way where you can get it to work where it doesn't throw off your vertical alignment is the same thing you do to the top, you do to the bottom. So if I want to put in, what I could do is I could go to page layout and I can go to margins and custom margins, and I could put my top margin to 1 and my bottom margin to 1, giving me space to put my footer. And I click OK, ignore, and so now I can put in a footer. Insert, where's footer? There we go, footer. And I want a blank one, so please don't leave that to the left. What's going to happen if you leave it to the left is it'll get cut off. So when you just type your name and your candidate number and all of that stuff, and then you come out, so it doesn't throw it off because it has a 1-inch margin at the top as well. Okay, so that's it for tables. I believe that's it for tables. So goodbye.